Alexa, stop. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Residency Match Insiders. Today's topic is night shifts and what can you bring up during the interview conversation about your experience doing night shifts and why this is important. So pay attention because this is real life advice. And I hope I'm catching you in a break of your studies. And this is something refreshing and something that gives you hope on helping you to match. So this is becoming important because this year many of you won't have the chance to do an observership, and I'm very sorry about that. But it is what it is. So you should know that whereas it's important for you to have clinical experience and a letter of recommendation from a physician from this country, your work in your country it's important, and there are programs that look at your application as a whole, and not necessarily just because you don't have any clinical experience you are out. It's a little more difficult, but you're not completely out. And how can you compensate for this? How can you balance this lack of United States clinical experience and bring it up to your favor? It's by mentioning during the conversation things that are important for program directors. And one of them is to see if you are a resilient person. How do we show that you're resilient? Not just by saying, oh, I'm resilient. No. So we have to show it with examples. And one of those examples is your ability to tolerate night shifts. And I say it that way because residents suffer through 3 years because of night shifts. You will always have to do night shifts, and it goes in a span of 12 hours that you have to be awake during nighttime, take calls for admissions from the ER up to, I don't know, depends on the places and which kind of hospital you're going to apply, but it can be anywhere from 6 to 12 admissions per night. I heard of more in some places, but probably 12 is something safe. So admissions, nurses calling you to receive orders from you about a patient that is hypotensive, hypertensive, bleeding, not responsive, possible stroke, seizures, and you have to go bedside and evaluate the patient and say, give me one bolus of normal saline, or give me one bolus of albumin, anything to make them survive. Sometimes even call the family at 1 a.m. to say, hey, unfortunately, your father is not doing well. Is this time to change code status? Even at that time, those conversations will have to happen. And you think everything is done at 7 a.m.? No. At 7 a.m., the incoming team needs sign out from you, needs to know why are you admitting this patient and what is the plan for the day that you, or what did you do all these hours for this patient. So depending on the residency, you may have to stay there for a couple of hours presenting, finishing your notes, and then leave. So not only you're working 12 hours, but then you're staying awake part of the morning, finishing up, brushing up your notes. And then the rest of the day is lost. There's nothing else for you to do other than sleep. You gain weight, you lose hair, I don't know, you become a mess during night shifts. But we all have to do it, suck it up, and if you can learn something from me in this conversation is that it takes a strong person to go through night shifts and focusing on assessing a patient, creating a differential diagnosis, and following on the orders that you requested, on the plan that you, if it's working or not, your medications are working, and giving this patient to the incoming team. So not easy, and what you can bring during this interview conversation, interview talk is the fact that in your country, hopefully you remain clinically active, working or volunteering your time at any hospitals. And you can, during the conversation, say, I would suggest doing it in the what about, tell me about you question, and saying, adding to those lines the fact that in my country, at this point in time in my country, I'm working as a general practitioner, admitting patients to my local hospital. I work night shifts, day shifts. Nights can be hard, sometimes up to 15 admissions a night, along taking care of cross-cover calls from nurses in the hospital, rapid responses, code blues, and trying to teach at the same time the students that are with me during those hours. That is enough for me to know that you will do fine in my program. Because you're telling me that you're already doing what you're trying to do, what you will have to do in an internal medicine or family practice program. So I will be very, very reassured. I will think, okay, yeah, so he may not have United States clinical experience, but he's doing it in his country at an attending level. And so I think he should be ready. See, that is the message I have for you. To learn, to try to expose yourself now to night shifts, because night shifts are the same anywhere. Hard to do, and admissions and cross cover. So think about that. Hopefully it's important for you. I also want to share this little card that I received today from my boss along my bonus check for the season, for the COVID season. And I want to share it because I appreciate the kind words. And I hope that by sharing this, you find yourself on trying to be that person. So, dear Jonathan, not only you're handsome and brown like cookie dough, but I also truly appreciate the contributions you make to the team. I especially appreciate all the extra shifts you have stepped up for, your flexibility and leadership with the team. You are getting about $5,000 more over what most got as a thank you for your amazing teamsmanship. Thank you. And it wasn't $5,000 more, but it was something more, just as a gesture, as an appreciation of I did work super hard. So people sees your hard work, and if they call you something like these kind words from my boss, who is a person I really admire, then you're probably doing something right, and that may be it. Maybe you, the person that is reliable, flexible, resilient. I want to help you finding these words and bringing this into the application package. So good luck, go back to study, and I will be back with another episode these days. Thank you.